Hey everybody, what's going on? Y'all know who this is. This is Preezy from Listen Up, Listen In podcast. Thanks for tuning in. All praises to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ every single day. How you feeling today? I hope your day is wonderful. I hope it's going well because you know it's Friday. And if you're not having a good day, this too shall pass. Brush it off. Don't let them see you sweat. Cause they smile in your face and all the time they want to take it to your place. Y'all know what it is. Let it go. Let it flow. It's time to grow. Don't you know? Come on now. Y'all know what it's all about. Anyway, I did an interview with this gentleman by the name of Will. He is the host of his own show called Sarcasm and Orgasm. Now, wait a minute. Don't y'all little dirty minds go that route. It's not what we're talking about. It's not what you think. But the only way you're going to find out is stay tuned to this episode. That's right. Stay on Listen Up, Listen In podcast. Come on now. Y'all know what it is. Let's get it.
Tanya, you ready?
Listen up, listen in. 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 Thanks for tuning in. Let's have a conversation. Talking worldwide, it don't matter your location. What you going through and the topic may have relation. Let's get some motivation. Swap out education. Every Friday we heal, laugh, improve, and grow. Put some nutrients in your mind, give you food for the soul. I know you pumped and preparing for your weekend and low. Might as well join the discussion and tune into the show. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. I'm your host, Preezy. Now before I start today's episode, I would love for you guys and gals to follow me on social media. Go to Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me on Listen Up, Listen In 5687 at gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast. Now let's get back to Listen Up, Listen In.
Yes, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sarcasm and Orgasm. Thank you for listening and tuning in. And before we get started, we do anything. Make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I mean, you're already here. Why don't you just go hit that notification bar right down at the bottom so you can get things all sarcastic. So, on today's podcast, I got a very, very good guest. Can't wait. Been looking forward to talking with this person. I want to introduce my guest from the Listen In, Listen Up podcast. I would love to welcome my guest, Miss Preezy.
Hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing?
What's going on, Preezy? How you been? How you doing?
I'm good. Well, I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. I really do.
And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, definitely. Welcome to SNL. I am blessed. I'm honored. So I know about you. Why don't you go ahead and tell my listeners and my watchers a little bit more about you and your podcast?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say all praises to God, and I hope everybody had a beautiful day. And as you know, my name is Preezy, and I am the host of Listen Up, Listen In podcast. My podcast started in May of this year. I started this podcast because unfortunately I lost my mom in 2020 from COVID. And so I was really down, and being retired, I didn't know what to do. And I like to talk. So one day, me and my best friend, we was just joking around, like playing around like we was on a radio station, just clowning. And then these two light bulbs just lit up like bing. Yo, we should do this. I sat down, did some reading, watched other podcasters and their shows. Here I am. And my podcast is more of self-help. I have different topics like learning self-control, family, different things that's going on in the world today, different things that we got to deal with in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's basic conversations and, all positive things. So
Definitely, definitely.
thank
And
you.
oh, no problem. I mean, it's always good to hear like new podcasters because I'm still considered new myself. I've been doing this since January, so I'm still in
Okay.
that new bunch like you, but it's like you're brand new.
Yes, I'm spanking new. I'm a
Yes,
baby.
we're all babies in some way, so
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
nice to know that we're getting more people of color involved, and
Oh, yes.
doing more and saying more because the people that I've ran into, no offense, but they're straight Caucasian, so
Yes.
and
Yes.
they're oversaturating the market, and we want more people of color to get more involved in podcasting because I was told that this is a small space, but it's still big because there's other
Yes.
areas and other um, podcasters to where everybody can eat from this. So
Oh, yes.
yes,
Yes. And we need something to listen to with all the things that's going on in the world today. I mean, especially COVID. COVID really took us to a whole different dimension. And so many of us have lost family and friends, and it was difficult. And I think at that time, a lot of people started podcasting because
yep,
you were home. You couldn't go nowhere. A lot of people didn't go to work. And so this was the opportunity for people to do the podcasting. And so it's a lot of fun. You sit around and you talk, and you're being yourself. And that's what counts. You're talking about different things that's going on in the world, and trying to laugh at the same time. So that's important.
it
That's
definitely is.
important.
It definitely is because we all need some type of escape, and
Oh,
it's like
yes.
yeah, it's almost to the point where it's like you want to say something. Like I think podcasting can be your own therapy without you having to pay for
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And
it.
believe it or not, um, there's a episode on my podcast called Learning Self-Control.
Mhm.
And I listen to it. And it's my podcast, but I
Yep.
listen to it because you sit there and you be like, wow, that sounds like me. Wow, do I do that? And so also when you're listening to other podcasters and their episodes, you're learning. You're learning different things. So it's important for us to, listen to these podcasters and hear what they have to say. Now, some of them a little, they're a little rough, but maybe we need a little roughness from time to time. So it's all good. I respect all the podcasters out there, and um, I just tell everybody to keep up the good work. And same with you. I'm
Mhm.
learning and I'm listening to everybody. I try to hear everybody, different podcasters and different shows, and I'm still learning, but I'm having fun too, and that's what's important.
It is. It definitely is important, like having fun with this because you put in the work, you put in the time and the effort to sit there, whether you it's scripted or unscripted. There's still a
Right.
lot of energy that you're doing, so you have to enjoy it. So I want to ask you this: when you say you and your best friend, when you came to it, like, did you just freestyle like your first episode, or did you actually write it out?
My first episode was called A Family Affair. How important is family time? And I actually did that with my family.
Mhm.
So we didn't really have to script anything. If anything, I might have done the intro, wrote down what I had to say, and the outro. But basically, we were talking about each other. And so that made it fun. And to have my brothers and sisters there, I was missing three brothers. They weren't able to attend, but they were there in spirit. Um, they just couldn't get to the location where we were having the part of the episode at. So, but it was nice enough to know that, we did mention them and they were happy about that. But it was a lot of fun. The second episode, um, I did a lot of reading and some of it was script. Most of it just flowed.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, how much prep do you do when you're doing your episodes? How much prep do you have to do, whether it's something you know or you don't know? Like, what is your formula when it comes to how you conduct each and every episode that you do?
Oh, I tell you, I could be doing a podcast all night. My sister says she believes I'm overdoing it, but um, oh, it could be hours, and sometimes I might do two episodes in one night.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I'll be on it. Like I'll cut off my phone. I'm not answering no calls or nothing. I'm in another world when I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing this podcast. And there have been little bumps and scratches, kind of
Scratches with them.
little errors that I probably made
Okay.
on the podcast. But I try to laugh it off because I be hoping nobody heard it. But I might have pronounced the word wrong or just little glitches that may have happened, but it's all a learning process. So when I hear it, I'm like, okay, I know not to do that. Make sure I don't do that again. So it's all a learning, I'm learning. But when I'm doing a podcast, oh, I'm talking hours, hours. I'm not even gonna lie, Will, because I'll talk it out. I'll be talking to myself, and I know my neighbors probably be like, she in that house by herself. Who's she talking to? Me. Because I have to hear myself. I got to do several recordings and I want to hear how I sound. But, it be hours for me. Maybe later on it won't be so bad. Right now, it's a minute. It takes a minute.
Ah, yeah. You know what? You got me beat because when I first started, I remember I was knocking an episode out every day. I was writing.
What?
Yes, no lie. I have all the papers from like my first 40 episodes. I got each and every sheet. And because
Wow.
yes, because I'm still passionate. Don't get me wrong, I'm still passionate, but now I'm more strategic about it.
Right.
And it's like I already know what I'm going to say in my head, so I kind of don't have to write it down because I got the script in my head, and then I have the ad libs, and then I know once I'm recording, more ad libs will come about it as I'm doing it. But I remember when I first started, man, I was almost like you. I was sitting there, I would record it. I would go back, listen to it. I'm like, okay, let's scrap that. Let's do it again. So the hours upon hours is fine. And now, mind you, I had already did a 10-hour shift. So I'm sitting there
What?
for additional
Oh,
two
man.
and a half, 3 hours, recording, going back and listening to it, and then getting it post for the next morning, and then doing it all over again. So I
Wow.
understand. But then I started to develop my own formula. Like if I'm going to say it, make sure I say it so I don't have to go back and redo it. Now,
Right.
since I think my 15th episode, I perfected to where I can get it done in one take. And now I have a different formula to where I stay a week ahead. So I'll record 3 and 4 episodes every weekend, every weekend. This is before I started YouTubing. So I would
Right.
3 to 4. That way I would have 3 episodes for the week. I would do it for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Take those 2 days off, back at it on Saturday, Sunday, and do the
Wow.
over and over again. So yeah, so I have just about 90 episodes, and then I started doing YouTube. Now I got 30 episodes so far today. So I got almost 100 and some content of things I've done, plus another
Wow.
2 episodes in my archive that I just haven't released. So I got a lot, but it comes from building. It comes from learning and listening to what you're doing, how
Oh
you
yeah.
and then you go back and you make edits and tweaks and everything because things can be perfect.
Right.
It might not sound perfect to you, but someone else is like, wow, they got all this done. So
Mhm.
yeah, I do.
Wow,
And
that
it's
is awesome.
yeah, I mean, you're your own worst critic, but you can tell someone, "Hey, I posted new," and they'll go listen to it like, "Wow, that was great," and
Right.
you just don't know what I did to get.
Right. Right. To get to it, right. I know. It's it could be difficult. It could be difficult.
Mhm.
Right now I'm just doing audio.
Yep.
I haven't done the video yet.
So now
On.
this is your first video, so
It's my
everybody.
first video.
Yep.
It's my first video and I'm feeling good.
hmm
But I'm gonna do audio for a minute, you
Yeah,
know.
and that's what I did. I had to get comfortable with listening to myself
Right.
first so other people would, and then I started branching out. Now, when you do video and you're still doing audio, that's a lot of
That's
time.
a lot.
It's a
Yeah.
lot because, for instance, like this video, we're going to record it, and then you go back and you watch it. It might be 45 minutes, but that watch time, that edit time can almost be 3 hours. So you think the 3 hours
Wow.
you're spending on editing just the audio is a different ballgame when it's video because you go back and you cut and you paste and you put things in it to make
Wow.
it spicy. Yeah, there's a lot of time. It's very time consuming, but I enjoy both of them. I really do. I don't stop either one. I just make sure I have a schedule like, okay, am I doing 3 audio? Am I doing 3 video? I really try to mix it up, but still keep content flowing every week. So that's just me. That's just me.
So you do audio too.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, was it hard to learn to do video? Was that hard?
No, it wasn't. It was just I had to be comfortable first. So it's almost like what I did was I took one of my episodes, like I went back and I redid an episode and I just recorded it as I was speaking again. So I had to go find the script, and luckily majority of it is on my phone because I take pictures just in case. So what I
Right.
did was I wrote it down again and then I'm reading it as I'm recording. That way I have something to play with. And so when I finally did a video, I was in St. Louis and I put it out. Now, granted, if you go on my YouTube and check, it was why women should stop wearing lashes. You'll see that the video, it's like tilted. So I'm looking down at the screen and the screen is not looking at me. And I didn't know, placement and everything. So it can it can be hard, be difficult, but if you're able to just have some patience, being able to sit there and learn and then watch, you'll start learning as you go because it's still a learning experience for me. I'm just now learning about green screens and how to cut things in and cut out, play with the levels to lower the voice, increase the music in the background. So it's so much. It's so much,
Wow.
but it's all a learning process, just like when you start doing audio. It really is.
So what advice can you give me, a person that wants to learn video? What is there any websites that I can go on to learn
Uh,
video?
YouTube basically. I
YouTube. I know you could get a college degree with YouTube.
Yeah, you did, and I
Use
said
YouTube.
it all depends on what type of laptop you're using. whether
Right.
you're using a Chromebook, MacBook, Acer, whatever it is, because there's different programs. I use a MacBook, so I use two
Yes.
different ones. I use iMovie and I use DaVinci Resolve because between the two, they give me the best video possible. Now you
Okay.
can tell my earlier videos that I didn't do a lot of clips, I didn't do a lot of edits, but now as I progressed on, you're seeing that I'm putting more and more quality, so the
Right.
content is so much more better. Because back then I didn't know. I
Right.
didn't know how to like put a nice little click and subscribe right down at the bottom. I didn't know how to do transitions, nothing like this. So
Wow.
it's learning, each and everything. It's like cooking. It's not
Right.
a perfect recipe in the beginning.
Yes.
Once you do it, you get it. You automatically
Yes.
know. Like Big Mama used to say, I don't need to know how much is in there. I just know that I put one, two, three pinches and I'm good. That's what video editing is about. Just knowing how you want it to look in your mind and to put
Right.
things like that onto the screen so people can see it. It's 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 a big experience, but just learning it can be so
Right.
difficult because you'll spend an hour or two for something that is just as small as a minute or two, but you just don't know it.
Right. Right. And I know that it's gonna be. I'll be there for hours. Because the thing about me, I don't know. I have this thing where I'm. If I don't get it, I'm gonna stay there till I get it. And I mean, it can go on for hours,
Mhm.
but that's just how I am. I just like I won't get no sleep. I'll stay up all night trying to master it. So I can't wait. I'm excited because I love to learn new things,
Mhm.
And if I'm gonna do this podcasting for a while, I want to be excellent at it.
Yeah,
I want to be excellent at it.
you can
So
be. The better that you take a more interesting approach to it, a more learning approach, the better you'll become with your audio. And then, like I said, when you transition over, it won't be so difficult because you
right,
already know the tricks of the audio. It's just the video quality that you have to play with. And then
right,
the YouTube is a whole different ball game.
whole different ball
Oh,
game. Right.
I'm still learning.
Now, what makes it different?
A lot of different elements. It's when you post, what your name is, how long is it, the algorithm, um, I know like your first you gotta get like 100 subscribers to be able to have your own custom
Right,
name. So it's
right,
like in mine, it's youtube.com/c// sarcasm and orgasms. Under your first 100, you got just backslash and you just got this long ass name. So you gotta build that up. And then I'm working on now getting my 1,000, which I'm 900 some people away, but don't worry, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
that's
But it's
right, that's right,
that first 100 block, it means so much because you have to get the name, because the taglines and everything, that's important so people can find your stuff. And then when they find it, are they watching the whole video? Because you have
right,
click rate, where they stop, where they finish, all that. Like that matters so much. And I'm still learning, but
yes,
I've only been doing YouTube, what is August? Maybe 2.5 months. So
okay,
yeah. But I steadily like market myself so much, like in the Facebook groups that I am affiliated with, that I'm constantly trying to, create with people, because it's not only doing it for you, but you're also
right,
attaching yourself to someone else's podcast, so you
right,
your viewers as well as theirs, and then expanding. So it's when it comes to this podcasting game, it's all about marketability. How much are you willing to promote yourself to other people, so it's like they're interested enough to come find out and come listen.
right, right. Now I have a question for you.
Okay.
What's the title? What's the definition of your title? Sarcasm and orgasm.
Well, it's funny that you asked. So, when you think about it, and this is my moniker that I came up with. So we all got sarcastic moments. And
Yes.
those moments, we get a euphoric high. So we come in our brains and now our lungs. So it's like we can have fun, we can talk about things, but we can still laugh about it. We can still enjoy. So we can
Yes.
have a sarcastic moment with an orgasm moment simultaneously. So
Right.
it comes from and just
Like that.
where I got the name from, I don't know. I was sitting in a hotel, because my brother's like, yeah, bro, you should create a podcast. I'm like, I don't feel like hearing your shit tonight. I really don't. He was telling me, he was like, no, seriously. And when my brother does that, I know I need to listen because he's the only person I'll listen to and not give no
That's
backlash.
what's up.
And he was like, yeah, you really need to create it. So he sent me Anchor, and I, for like a week, it was a week before I really recorded. I had to find my name. I had to do my research on what I was going to call my podcast, and I just didn't know. I really did not know what I was going to call it. I wanted to be like generic and just say the Will Show, but I'm like, nah. I wanted
Right.
like pop, like really pop.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
miraculously, I was sitting here doodling, and I came up with sarcasm and orgasms.
Ah, that's what's up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I gotta give a shout out to my niece Tamara Bamiro. She's the one who came up with Listen Up, Listen In. I mean,
mhm.
I was sitting there and I was getting all I had, oh boy, I had so many different titles that I wanted to use, and a lot of them were taken. It was just too many people using it. And we sitting there, we thinking, and she texted me and say, I got something for you, Auntie. And she came up with this, and I was like, that's it. That's the one. Listen up, listen in. So I was happy about that. And so I always give her a little shout outs. Like, I appreciate her help with that, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, shout out to
So
her. Thank you. Thank you so much.
yes, yes,
Thank you so much.
definitely. Yes,
Well,
yes,
I want to say this to you. Own your name. Own it.
yes.
Uh, there is a site, Namecheap, where I own both of the names for 10 years. That way, if anybody tries to make it, they can't. It's a .com, and then it's almost like you trademark it at the same time, because when you do that, then you can go ahead, you can make a website for your podcast and then build it that way, and then you can be able to take the name itself, along with your RS feed, and then just be able to build. And I had to find out the hard way because somebody, which I'm glad that I was able to buy the name, somebody had already came up with sarcasm and orgasm, but it had expired, so I had got it real quick. So I own like both sarcasm orgasm and sarcasms and orgasms, both .com, which is more popular than .net, .org, dot whatever, .biz. So that's another thing I always like to share with new podcasters. Like, if you're thinking really about doing this, go ahead and get the name. You don't have to have the website now, but as long as you have the name, you never have to worry about it. So, just another little piece of information that I want to share with you. So,
Thank you. And one thing, let me show you.
okay.
I did something. I think I went ahead of the game.
Oh,
Can you see?
okay. Okay.
I'm not playing, Will.
Okay.
Will, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm ready. Will, I'm ready.
Hey, 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 Miss Lady, more power to you. That's great. That's
Yes,
really thinking ahead. I mean,
yes.
we beat. I haven't did the LLC because it's like I'm trying to get merch first, so I put on my website,
Right.
which everybody, uh, t-shirts will be available Labor Day, so you'll be able to
Nice,
buy them. They will come in 10, yes, 10 different colors. I will put
nice,
the link
nice.
down below so y'all can be able to go and buy it. It's $20. Most of the money will go to me, and then, well, 60% of the money will go to me, 40% will go to charity to the Boys and Girls Club. So
Nice, nice.
that's so
That's awesome.
I
That is
just want to
awesome.
put that out there. We officially got a date, so you can start purchasing your orders on Labor Day. That is what, September 6th, I think.
Yes.
So yeah, Yeah, but
Shoot me a reminder about that. I forget a lot of things sometimes. I'll be so busy, Will. But definitely shoot me a reminder on that. I'll definitely support that.
yeah, because me, it's not just me, it's my brother too, because he came up with the
Nice.
not the name, me doing the podcast, and I wouldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't for him. So we are
Wow.
50, and
Awesome.
we also said, well, let's donate most of the money to somebody who's really going to help. So that's what I'm
Right.
doing. Yeah.
That's awesome. 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 And yes, it is so important to give family support. I have to truly say, shout out to my brothers and sisters, Judith, Christopher, uh, Milton, Richard, Steve, Shamik. I want to shout out to my brothers and sisters and my best friend, uh, Kivia and Candace. They have really stuck by me when it came to this podcast. And one of my best friends, she's on a lot of my episodes. She
Hmm.
goes by the name of Giggles, aka of course her real name is Candace. And she has really been supporting me a lot with this podcast, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
So it really helps to have that support
It,
from family and friends. It helps so much, you know.
mm,
It
my
just makes you, it pushes you.
It does,
It,
and my brother's been
yes.
so instrumental. Cause I remember he listened to my first couple episodes. He was telling me what I need to do, and ever since then, I've been so good at it because of him. And then every once in a while, he'll check out an episode, be like, "Hey, bro, do this, do that." Okay, but he's
Okay.
been more behind the scenes on like the graphic designs, like this graphic that's behind me. He came up with that. The graphic that's going to go on
Nice.
the shirt, he came up with that. So it's almost like without him, there's none of this. We would not
Wow.
be speaking
It's
if
a
he,
blessing.
yes, we would not be speaking if he never would have said, "Hey, get on Anchor and start recording." Which is another question I'm gonna ask you. So where do you record your episodes? Like what
Anchor.
Anchor? Okay.
Yes. I started off with Anchor.
Hmm.
And it's been work. The only thing with Anchor, if there are mistakes, you can't really go back
Yeah.
and
Yep.
fix it.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing, but it's the beginning. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And so let me learn a lot more. Then I can move on to other different things and with the editing and the clipping and all of that stuff. So I gotta really say anybody that wants to start off with podcasting, start off with Anchor,
Hmm. Yep.
you know,
Oh,
because you have to really think in your mind if this is what you really want to do. Don't go out there and start buying this and mics and this and that and that. Start off with Anchor first and see if you want to do this. You know, and I think Anchor is pretty good. That's the only thing that I get a little angry about is if something happens, you can't really do what you really want to do.
hmm.
So, but other than that, I love Anchor. That's what I'm doing right now. And their Anchor is with Spotify.
Yep.
And so I'm also with Buzzsprout because when you be on Buzzsprout, Buzzsprout takes you to whole so many different platforms. Like once you bring your episode to them, I mean your podcast is like boom, 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 boom. You know? So I love Buzzsprout when it comes to that too. And also with Buzzsprout, uh any noise or any type of background problems, they fix it. I
Okay.
mean, they have a monthly fee and it's not that bad, but they do like remaster it a little bit for you. And so that I appreciate that. But I think my podcast is on about maybe 25 platforms. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, that's
Yeah.
when you first starting out. I would just tell you this, man.
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm
Do
ready.
not, and I repeat, do not use Riverside.
Riverside?
Yes, don't use it.
Okay, I haven't, but I've seen it. I've
Don't,
seen it pop up on my computer.
don't. That I'm not saying it's a scam. I'm saying it's not very good for a multiple
Okay.
reasons, and I'll give you mine just from what I've experienced. So I remember when I did my first episode back in April. Yes, I did it with a lady from the Campfire Shit Show. Shout out to Meryl. She was my first episode. But I had a problem because if your person doesn't have good internet connection and you do, it's going to suffer because it's going to
Wow.
lag on their end. And you can tell when you do the playback, like you'll have a little monitor right on your screen, like right above you. It shows you
Mhm.
as you're recording, it's uploading, which is great. But if there's sometimes that other person, their upload speed is not always the same as yours, so it doesn't match up. And then it'll download everything, it'll paste it together, but then you'll see it'll skip and it'll lag, so it's missing things. It's almost like you're watching a Chinese movie to where you see their lips moving, but then
Oh no.
yeah, that's the best example I can give. And I had another episode, which was a great episode. I did an episode with these two ladies from Sipping Tea with Tori and B. Shout out to them. Great episode. There's so much it didn't work. So
Wow.
these downloaded automatically, just like mine. Toys it didn't. It's at 40%. I can go back now, bring it up, and show you that it's still at 40%. And that happened in May. And this is August.
Wow.
So yes, so it's almost like they're I don't know if it's their bandwidth, their download speed, whatever it might be. It's not good for someone who
Okay.
has just like marginal internet. Of course, we all know it's high speed everywhere. That's fine, but
Right.
sometimes you'll have that one day to where it's just not up to par, and it will show. And
Oh
it's
wow.
maybe go to other places to where it's like, okay, I need something else. And that's how I was able to find where we're at now, StreamYard, because I did an episode with another podcaster when I was on her platform. And she told me about this. And ever since then, it's been a dream to me. Like, I love the price I pay. I can have up to 10 people at one time. Even
Wow.
so, I've even done panels to where I've had about 7 at one time. And it's been great. Never had a problem. Never.
Wow. So you recommend StreamYard?
Personally, I do because I've had better results with StreamYard than I had with Riverside. So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
you,
Definitely something.
but I would say go work it first. Like do
Right.
a mock one first, just to check and make sure, because it
Right.
could be different for you than it was for me. But just my bad experience, maybe like I'm not paying $25 for this when I
Wow.
$25 here at StreamYard, and I have 10 people at one time, and StreamYard is a little bit easier because I can give you the plugin. It plugs you in. You're fine. You ain't got to download nothing. If you do an interview with someone on Riverside, they have to automatically download it to be able to use it.
Oh wow. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
hmm
a bit much.
hmm
Yeah.
It really is. So you just, they say it's dummy proof, but it's really not dummy proof.
Right. I'm glad you told me that because I definitely saw that on Anchor. You
hmm
know, if you want to do your video and it said Riverside. So I was like, oh, what's that? I was like, all right, that's something a little later on, so but
Yeah.
I'm glad you gave me that little tip about Riverside.
I
Okay.
give everybody that tip because I just want to save you the hassle and save you the
Yes.
struggle that I went through.
And headache.
Yeah, and the headache. Like you be having a dope episode, y'all talk about some good things, and then it's buggy the whole time. The whole time.
But Anchor can do that to you too. Sometimes you have to you gotta reboot it.
Yep.
I'll be like, yo, go on, what's going on? So I always reboot it before I even start an episode. So get
Yep.
it fresh
Yep.
and ready before I um add people on to the show. And so far, it's been good. I've heard a little, but I always tell people make sure you're in a good area, your Wi-Fi is good. Don't go in an area and your Wi-Fi is messed up because then it'll take you off or it'll uh, mess up the show.
Yep.
So I always say make sure you're in a very good area where your Wi-Fi is good, and because Anchor, excuse me, Anchor only allows 4 people, including myself. So,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes there's a lot of people that want to get on, but I'm like, I can't,
Yeah. Yep.
I
Yep.
can't do it. So next time, next episode.
Well, it's just all about just building and progressing.
Yes.
And like I said, the moment that you're finally able to be comfortable on screen like you are now, you can unlock a lot more because you can do more than what you possibly was. And then
Right.
StreamYard doesn't always have to be video. So for instance, what we're doing now, this is be video, but you can still splice this and it can be audio and you can still put it up on Anchor and you can straight download it. You don't have to cut it up. And another thing, so I remember when I was taking videos off of Riverside and putting it on Anchor, they were splitting it up. So I would have to sit there and really paste it and make sure it is it's complete and there's no overlay. I
Ah,
yes.
ah.
Yeah. So, Riverside can really suck dick, honestly. I'm just
Now
just
let me ask you, when you're doing your videos, um, your audience can type messages and stuff like that. Is this something does StreamYard do that, or that's more YouTube?
It's more YouTube. It's more
Okay,
YouTube.
okay.
But it's almost like I kind of give an avenue, like I always give a shout out, like if you want to reach out to me, I'll put my socials on there so they can reach me and say, hey, I like this and like that. And then also, Anchor does have like little voice messages that I know there's a few people that did on mine in my earlier ones, but not
I
anymore
saw that.
since
Yes.
I've transitioned over here and over to YouTube. But it's like I always say at the beginning of my end, if you always want to say something, please reach out. Like,
Right.
see,
Right.
like that call out so people can know. Because it's almost like you got to give people the stamp of approval to do something, or they're not going to be able to figure it out. Like,
Right.
it is.
Right. Right.
But
I
yeah,
received a lot of replies
mhm,
about the episode or emails,
yeah.
you know.
And
So
And that's another
it's
thing. You should like read them in your thing and say, "Hey, I want to give a shout out to this and that person." If you're listening, that way you let them know that you're acknowledging them, so
I
they know.
definitely will. I definitely will. That is an excellent idea.
Mhm,
Yes. Yes, I definitely will give a shout out to those
yeah,
that responded, you know.
take a
But
nice little block, like whether it's in the beginning or the end,
right,
and just do it that way. And make it a little bit more personal for that
right.
next episode. So,
And make them feel good. They be like, oh, she's
yeah,
proud of me
bitch,
now.
help us out, yeah.
I heard my name. So yeah. So that's a good idea. You know,
Because we
that's a
all
good
know,
idea.
and one podcaster told me I want to give another shout out to Rose because we had talked about this. Shout out Rose. Make sure you go check out him. Dope guy. He was saying that podcasting is probably going to be like really the next cable to where there won't be
Oh
no
yeah.
cable, and
Oh yeah.
podcast will be on TV every day more than anything else.
Oh yeah.
It's like we get them in on the ground now while it's still building, and then we just individually build our own channels, and then who knows what can happen. So that
Mhm.
way, like as you're growing, your audience is growing. You can take your audience with you, through Anchor, then through YouTube, and hell, to even national TV. You never know. It's just more about how persistent, how determined, and how interested you are in this game we call
Oh
podcast.
yeah. Oh yeah. And I never really I'm gonna keep it real. I never really listened to podcasting.
Hmm.
I never once in a while I'll hear a talk show and I listen to it, you know. But it's so funny. I was in Long Island and I was at this doggy park. I had just went to Calvinton Cemetery because both of my parents are out there. And then I took my dogs. It's across the street. There's a huge park. So I'm out there with my dogs. And this young lady, she had her dogs, and we started talking. And her niece came up, and I was like, "What are you listening to?" And they was like, "Crime Junkies." I said, "Crime Junkies? What's that?" She was like, "It's a podcast." Okay. I was like, "Corny." I went home and started listening to it. I was like this. I started getting into it and then I started just looking at other podcasting shows. And I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of cool.
Hmm.
And now I'm into it. Now I listen to all kind of different shows now, but before I never really thought about listening to radio. You listen to radio stations, the
Mhm.
Breakfast Club, stuff like that, but not actually audio. On podcasting episodes. I wasn't, but that Crime Junkies was like, oh wow, this is awesome. And they're not showing their face, and you just hearing their voices. I was like, all right, I like this.
Well, it's been unique. It's been different for me because I listen to podcasts here and there, and then when I start getting to it, I listen to it more because say like I just never met you. I want to listen to you first so I know who you are, so I know how
Mhm.
to build my questions and build things. That way I get a feeling for you. But it's just like podcasting is so different because you don't know what you're going into. Like the title might say one thing, like sarcasm orgasm, but it could be a completely different other when you actually take the time and listen. But another
Right.
thing I just don't like about podcasts, if it's one person, I don't want to sit there for an hour and listen to you because it sounds more like you're complaining rather than. And that's like my episodes. They're under 20 minutes because
Right.
very straight to the point. You get in, you get out, you're done. But people who got over 2 and 3 hours when it's just them, I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah.
what you
I
got something
think
else to do?
I think my when it's a lot of us, like it's like I might have people around me and we're talking. The show could go at least an hour, hour
Mhm.
15, depending on the topics. Like there was a particular topic we discussed. It went about an hour, a good hour. We were talking about, personal hygiene, people at work. What do you do? What do you say if your coworker smells? Or different things like that, or relationship topics and, you know, different things like that. When it's getting really deep, I don't cut it because I know this person, they got something to say.
Oh,
And
yeah, I get
I'll be
that.
like, go ahead,
Mhm.
talk, let it out.
And I
Because,
wouldn't either, especially when you got a panel, but it's different when it's like, two people. You kind of want
right,
to keep it
right,
under an hour because there's only so many things you can say before you be
just
like,
say,
yep, okay, it's a wrap, it's time to go.
right, it's time to go.
Yeah, so,
Right.
but I
Because
get
you don't want them to be bored. Next thing be like, oh, forget it, I don't want to hear this, So, but I try to make it fun too. I don't want to just be talking. I try to throw little jokes. Everybody said, I'm a little clown. I like to make little jokes here and there. If you're driving or you're sitting at a park or you're hanging with your friends, I try to make things funny where they're like, oh, that was funny, but it's a learning process.
mm, it is.
That's all it is. It's a learning
That's what
process.
podcasting is. It's been great for me because I've been able to be more and more comfortable with my own thoughts and then put them out there in a way to where people can understand it. And it's just nice. It's nice, like actually hearing, like just sitting my phone here, picking a random episode that I've done, or going to someone else's podcast and listening to an episode and then listening to something else. It's just nice learning about something else that you
Yes,
never would have thought. But there's just
yes.
some podcasts I will not do. I will not get on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There was a few that I listened to, and it was a little rough. And I was like, no, that's too much. That's not really my style.
Hmm.
So I'm like, nah, that's okay. That was just too much, you
Yeah.
know.
It's like I put my sense in like a comedy entertainment podcast, but I'm not
Mhm.
going to affiliate myself who does true crime or murder mysteries. Like it makes no sense. There's no cross reference there to where how can you be
Right.
funny about someone dying or killing someone? It's
Like, yo, we about to send the police to your crib. Yo, what are you doing? You getting ready to plot something? I don't know.
yeah.
Some of it be too much, though. I think what I like about Crime Junkies is they're telling, I think these stories are true. They really happened. So it's like to me, it's kind of cool. But there's times, I'll be like, would they get to the point? Like, get to the plot. Like, come on, did he do it? You know, but I'll sit and listen if I'm doing something or cleaning. I'll listen. I was like watching a Lifetime
Mm-hmm.
movie. Lifetime movie can go on for like 4 days. That one episode.
Yeah.
So I like to listen to it and just hearing them talk, but I kind of like it. And then there's different ones. I'm like, nah, no, I'm like this.
I
And
have.
it's especially when it's too. I don't really like podcasts that are too raw. F this, that, this, and that, and they're talking just they all over the place. It's like a million topics in one show. It's just too much because you just finished this topic and now we jump into. So I think sometimes it's just all over the place, and I'm like I'm lost. Like where we at now?
Here we
So,
go. Which
but
way?
I don't put nobody down because I'm like I'm new to the game. So kudos to everybody that's out there doing a podcast. I'm happy for everyone. I want everybody to shine as far as I'm concerned.
I do too, but I find what I find a problem with is there's a lot of redundancy because you got a lot of relationship podcasts, you got a lot of sports podcasts, you got a lot of mental health podcasts. Mental health I will not poke fun at because we know that's something serious. But it's almost
Mhm.
like how many times can you talk about the same things? That's what I don't seem to understand. And I'm not gonna stab at mental health because I've had my issues, so I try to shy away from it. But how many times can you talk about sports? How many times you gonna talk about your broke ass, dumbass baby daddy and baby mommy? How many times you gonna, say, oh well, this should go with that, that should go with this? Like, come on now, be different.
Scoring.
Yes,
Yes.
do something unique, like sarcasm and orgasm. Like I have an episode where I literally said "fuck them kids," and I told you why.
I definitely gotta go see that one. Yeah, and that's why I like mine because I'm talking about learning self-control, having patience, narcissists,
Wow.
mental health, family, protecting the senior citizens, the COVID, the children that have lost their parents or loved ones to COVID. So it's a whole bunch of different topics.
Mm-hmm.
Loving yourself and cheating. Are women more better cheaters than men, and vice versa. So I'm all over the place too with different topics, but I'm gonna have you thinking, oh, what's she getting ready to talk about next? It's not gonna be the same thing.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Man, I need to have you back for part two, Preezy.
you better have me back. I'm gonna definitely have you on my show. I'm gonna give you some topics and you choose the one you
Oh man, you can
pretend.
it could be just straight shoot fire. Just throw them
How
at
about
me.
okay, that's fine. We're gonna do that. We
Okay.
definitely gonna do that. This was awesome. I feel so excited. I'm so excited. This is my first time doing a video
Oh,
podcast, and I love it.
you look beautiful. I don't know what's better, the picture behind you or the picture in the
Oh,
so
oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a painting done. Wow, that was done about 3 years ago when I
it
was younger.
was just done.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So, before I get you out of here, let's go ahead. So, how can people find you if they want to like listen to you, maybe be a guest, whatever it might be? Let them know where they can find Miss Preezy at.
Yes, you can find Miss Preezy. Listen up, listen in, 5687 on Instagram. You can also email me at listenuplistenin5687 at gmail.com. If you go to listenuplistenin5687 on Instagram, click Linktree and you'll see all the platforms that I'm on. Download it. Check me out. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I'm on Facebook.
all right.
I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Preezy5687.
Okay.
Twitter. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, well, you heard it here first. Make sure you go support her. Listen,
Yes.
she's got a lot of good stuff. I checked out a couple of episodes, and I'm
Thank you.
impressed with someone who just started. But don't listen to me because I'm still new to the game. So, but still, we gotta support each other each and every week.
Yes.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
please stay on so we can talk a little bit more off camera. But thank
Yes.
you so much for joining me. I really
Thank you.
I really enjoyed.
Thank you so much. Well, I appreciate you having me on your show.
Oh,
Thanks
no
so
problem.
much.
Like I tell everybody, and I mean this heartfully, you are always welcome to come back whenever you feel like it.
Thank you so much. All
Oh,
right, everybody, take care, be blessed, and be safe.
definitely. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yes, everybody, that was a great episode with my guest Preezy from Listen In, Listen Up. Man, I love that. That was a great conversation for a great episode. So many good moments. We can all learn something from each and everybody that we come in contact with. You just gotta have patience. Yes, patience to be able to deal with people, because you never know what you can find out when you just sit, talk, and listen. So remember, people, open up your ears and close your mouth. That way you'll be able to listen up and listen in to everything that's going on. So I want to give a shout out to my guest Preezy. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. And remember, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You're already here, so why don't you just go ahead and get that daily dose of sarcasm. And then make sure after you're done, go over to Listen Up, Listen In everywhere on all podcast platforms, so you can be able to check out my girl Preezy, so you can get all those daily doses of different conversations from different points of views. So this has been another episode of Sarcasm and Orgasm. I'm your host, Will, and I'll talk to y'all all soon.
Hey everyone, I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I have my interview with Will, the host from Sarcasm and Orgasm. See, I told you it wasn't what you thought. You little dirty minds. But anyway, I'm glad that you tuned in, and thank you for tuning in always to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. You can check Will Sarcasm and Orgasm podcast. He's on all the podcast platforms, social media. He's on Anchor, Spotify, YouTube. He's everywhere. And you'll enjoy his episodes. Yes, you will. Thank you for tuning in to me. Yes, Preezy. And listen, it's Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great time. Whatever you do, be safe. And always remember, always remember to live, laugh, love. Love you first. Because you cannot love anything or anyone unless you love you first. Stay healthy. Stay focused. Put God first. Hold your family just a little bit tighter. Love you, mommy and daddy, forever. Peace.
That concludes this episode of Listen Up, Listen In with your host, Preezy. Hey, yo, Preezy, tell them how to keep in touch, baby.
Go to Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me at listenuplisten5687@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast.
Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Yeah.